And we welcome you to this Combine Friday, starting with Chris Abrams-Drain of Missouri.
This is going to be a fast group.
And a 4.44 already to start. That was the fastest unofficial time we had all last night. That was, I believe Peyton Wilson was the one who ran that. And what a great way to start.
He's a good football player, too. And Terrion Arnold's up next. Let me give you the numbers you're shooting for here. The top 10 corners last year, when you're looking at production, 4.47 was the 40. So the 10 time, when you get down into that is, well, actually, I'll pull that one up for you later. But 4.47, that is the number you are shooting for.
Well, it's already been beaten. Shot for and vaulted under, I guess you should say. So here is Terrion Arnold, number 8 on Daniel Jeremiah's top 50 best prospects list, and the first in the top 10 that we've seen on the field here in Indianapolis this week.
He's recruited to play hoops at Alabama. That's the kind of athlete we're talking about here. He can really, really jump and is explosive, and he's going to put together a nice time.
.451.
It's interesting, the comparison with him with Jalen Johnson, who ran a 4.5 flat. Who's getting ready to get paid a whole lot of money.
There's Antonio Pierce, the new HC of the Las Vegas Raiders. MJ Devonshire of Pittsburgh is next up. Raiders have the 13th overall pick in the draft. So much chatter about them sticking and picking or moving up to go get a quarterback or staying there and getting a quarterback. The quarterbacks with the running backs and the wide receivers all on one day tomorrow. A mega monster Saturday that starts at 1 Eastern time here on NFL Network. That's a 4.45.
That was an easy 4.45 too. He was cruising.
Well, I do believe we now have 3 wide on the concourse set.
We have an addition.
Chris Rose, take it away.
There he is.
We sure do, alongside Charles Davis. And from Good Morning Football to Good Afternoon Combine, Peter Schrager, welcome back to Indy.
Thank you. I was in LaGuardia Airport a couple hours ago taking pictures of myself, if you want to know where my ego's at. I was on TV.
Oh, we know.
Good Morning Football, yeah, so it's it. But we got a great crew of DBs and an amazing crop of tight ends. I'm here to talk about it. Let's go.
All right, so Charles, once again, you cover games for CBS every Sunday. You've seen a shift in the secondary, have you not?
Yeah, I think we all have, because of the way defenses are played. And, when we do those starting lineups, putting 11 on the screen really doesn't do it justice, because when's the last time anyone played base defense for an entire game? We're talking about nickel, dime, quarter defense. That's 5, 6, 7 defensive backs on the field at one time. Many of them become dime linebackers, you name it. But the big thing is, how much more speed can you get on the field? Because even the NFL teams are spreading it out and making you defend every inch of grass.
Marcellus Dial, a good time of 4.47 as he was sprinting down the 40 track. Peter, and a guy or two you're keeping your eye on?
Yeah, I'm excited to see Nate Wiggins run. This is a guy who's 6'2", 200 pounds, got that ideal build, and they're saying he might run 4.3, 4.4. If you put that together, you're talking about that could be a first-round guy and a top 10 guy potentially. And then you start going down the list a little bit. Drew Phillips is our super athlete out of Kentucky. He was born in South Carolina and was the triple jump champion in South Carolina. He already did his jumps, jumped out of the building today. We're going to get to his numbers, but I think his 40 might be pretty impressive too.
Yeah, former NFL cornerback Jeremy Lincoln's training Drew Phillips, and he is very fired up about him. He's taking that training well. I give you 2. Chris Abrams-Drain from Missouri, already watched him run. He's going to be a really nice slot. And Kyrie Jackson from Oregon. Take a look at the wingspan when you see him. 32 and 6'8" inch arms, 6'4", nearly 200 pounds. Can't wait to see how he looks, because ordinarily if Pete Carroll were still around, he'd be a press corner in a cover 3 deal.
Don't want to shortchange Willie Drew from Virginia State of the Trojans. Just ran a 4.48. Let's take you back to the booth, Rich Eisen.
Yeah, they're running fast so far on this track. Bernardo Green, Florida State guys have last night performed very well.
He had a good matchup with Malik Neighbors in the LSU game and held his own, one of the few that did.
4.54. The gentleman who will be first up on the clock in Detroit, head coach Matt Eberflus and general manager Ryan Poles. Checking out the DBs here. First and 9th overall. 2 top 10 picks in a draft chock full of top 10 talent. Miles Harden now gets a whistle from Mark Gorsick, the longtime scout of the Steelers. There's Sean Payton. Pick dozen. We welcome Denver back to the first round of the NFL draft.
Welcome back, huh? Are they in the quarterback business? We have a few cutaways of him coming up tomorrow. It's Miles Harden right here from South Dakota. The first tape I watched was Missouri. He found his way to a football on a tip ball, ended up making a pick there. Really, really a physical player. Tough, taking on blocks, getting off blocks in the run game. Want to see how he would run. That's a solid time especially for the way that he plays.
4.52. Again, the first 40 we saw today is the best so far. 4.44 of Chris Abrams-Drain of Missouri.
Yeah, we'll have more on him the next time he comes up. He is a feisty dude, the way that he plays.
Daquan Hardy, Penn State.
Still waiting for the first Penn State guy to disappoint when we get the hand down on this line in Indianapolis. He plays as the nickel. A little bit undersized. Looks like he's moving.
He is 4.39. You got a good eye for it, Daniel. That's why you're sitting in this booth, brother. Ian Rappaport, we welcome you to our Friday coverage.
Rich, one of the top-tier cornerbacks you are not going to see performing today with the other defensive backs is Kool-Aid McKinstry, the All-American corner from Alabama, part of Daniel Jeremiah's top 50 list. My understanding for Kool-Aid was that during his combine medical, doctors discovered he had a Jones fracture in his foot, actually something he had been playing with. Usually, always, this means a player is going to have surgery, repair it. From what I am told, he is not going to have surgery immediately. The plan is to work out at his pro day, to run for everyone, and then have surgery. Should be fine before training camp. Meanwhile, Cooper DeJean, the Iowa quarterback, another one who's on Daniel Jeremiah's top 50 list, he is recovering from a broken fibula, something he suffered kind of late in Iowa's season. He just started running full speed, so he's not going to test out here today. Not clear if he's going to be ready for his pro day, but the hope is to have some sort of workout for scouts and teams before April's draft.
Thanks, Ian. Greatly appreciated. Cam Hart with a 4.5 flat. Here's Kyrie Jackson. It just is amazing to me sometimes. You come here and then the doctors check you out and they're like, oh, by the way, you got a fracture in your foot.
It's insane. It's insane. No knowledge of it whatsoever.
And like, what?
But it is a good reason to get the physical, though, so you get things taken care of you didn't know existed.
Well, obviously, we'll have a conversation about the presumed top overall pick in this year's draft. Caleb Williams saying no. DJ James of Auburn.
A little undersized, but really, really explosive player on tape.
And also in person, 4.43. Isaiah Johnson, Syracuse.
Curious to see what this one looks like. Yeah, that was going to be the question with him. Hopefully he gets a little better on the next one.
And they're shooting for Daquan Hardy of Penn State. The only sub 4.4 that we've timed so far. Unofficially, Elijah Jones, 4.45.
Easy.
A BC Eagle. Jarian Jones.
He's going to be a nickel.
4.38.
The two guys that flew today are those nickels, just ultra twitched up.
New best time, Kalen King. Another Nittany Lion.
There was some question about his. Yeah, there was the question about the speed there. Hopefully he can get that down on the next one.
Okay. Dwight McLeathern of Arkansas. 4.47, nicely done.
That's a big corner.
This is where Kool-Aid McKinstry would have run. But he is not running today, not working out. Again, discovered, as Ian Rappaport was saying moments ago in his medical, to have something called a Jones fracture. 4.39.
Oh, yeah.
Rutgers in the house.
He's a good player, too. I thought he was going to be in that third-round mix. He might just run himself up a round higher.
There you go. Stacey Dales, take it away.
Well, that 4.39 to top off, gentlemen, how about a 40.5-inch vertical, an 11.4 broad?
Jeez.
out of Rutgers. You guys know Bo, right? He came alive for the Packers down the stretch. 7th rounder out of Rutgers last season. DJ, I know you can comment on that.
He can run a little bit, too.
He can run a little bit, too. This guy, Max, he was a predominantly wide receiver in high school. Only played 1 year of cornerback, actually, but said that all that time offensively gave him great route recognition as a cornerback moving forward, and he's one to watch moving forward.
Quinyon Mitchell just ran a 4.33
The box has been checked.
Check the box. Jeez.
Tape, check. Senior Bowl, check. 40, check.
4.33 for the corner out of Toledo. That is number 15 on Daniel Jeremiah's best prospects list.
When the first words that I wrote down when I watched him were super, all caps, explosive.
4.52 for Josh Newton of TCU. Charles? You there, Charles?
Yep, I am now. Thanks, Rich. Appreciate it. Hey, DJ, I mean, you put down super explosive for Quinyon Mitchell, and then we all got to watch him at the Senior Bowl, where he accepted every challenge and took on, anyone who came out there. He and Roman Wilson had some epic battles. But I'm looking at this young man. We all know that if he had gone to an SEC school, we would have blown him up a lot earlier. That's just the way it works. But he looks to me like a strong at the point, great press, and a mixture of Darius Slay, Marshawn Lattimore is what one evaluator told me.
Yeah, and one of the deals, too, with him, I mean, I've got him at 15. And then you start asking yourself, if you're a team that needs a corner and you're picking up there in the top 10, let's pick a team and say maybe the Atlanta Falcons at 8. What's to keep you from taking him all the way up there? I mean, he's literally done everything you can do. The athleticism is elite. The ball skills are elite. The competitiveness, we saw that at the Senior Bowl where Rich, he was going up against Roman Wilson every rep. The two fastest guys there competing against each other. So he's an impressive dude.
4.39 for DeAndre Prince. I didn't see the part of that comparison jousting with Mike Evans. I didn't see that.
To be determined if he can do that. Yeah.
We'll see. Certainly if he's drafted by a team in the NFC South. Well, it's assuming Evans returns to where he's.
It's been a long-standing feud as well.
You think?
A little bit. How about Prince though, man? It's a fast group.
Somebody named Nehemiah's got to run fast, right? I know that's like that's an 80s Olympic reference
Nice,
right there. But
nice.
Here's Nehemiah Pritchett. 4.36. Wow. Nicely done.
It's funny. I was watching him, and he is a good player. There's a lot of ability. I'd put him in that 3rd round range. And then I watched him against Georgia McConkey, who we'll get a chance to see when the wideouts get going tomorrow. He kind of turned him around, and that was one of the first corners that I watched. And then everybody I kept watching, I'm like, well, this McConkey guy's doing this to all these big-time corners.
Yeah. Phil's kid, right?
He's no relation.
No relation.
No relation.
How about that? Here's Rakestraw Jr. of Missouri, number 23 on your top 50 list. And there is Jim Harbaugh, one of his sons. What's up, Coach? Is he sitting underneath his name? That would be. That's what.
Is he looking up at it?
If I was in a Ring of Honor, I would sit underneath my name. Just wondering where he's sitting. Here is DeCamerion Richardson, Mississippi State.
He was striding that one out.
3, 4. 1/100th off of our unofficial best time.
He's over 6'2" as well. I mean, that is a tall, fast corner.
There's the name, the Ring of Honor, perfectly posed right here as Mike Sanderstill gets up there. One of the best Michigan has fielded during this run.
I talked to the folks at the training facility where he was, where there was about 50 guys. They said they just referred to him as the CEO. He is a leader.
And best. 4.47.
That's great for him.
From Mike Sanders.
There was some expectation he'd be in the 4.5. Coach Harbaugh giving him a little hand there. I love it. I love it.
Because he knows what number 0 has stood for him and his team. I told you before the broadcast that over the last several years, you had to put names up there of guys whose play and leadership skills helped turn the program around. I put him up there with McCarthy and Blake Corum, who we'll see tomorrow, and Aiden Hutchinson, who was balling out. I'd name those 4 if I had to pick 4.
Intelligence, toughness, and then also the production. Picked off 6 balls last year.
That's right next door to us, Colts GM Chris Ballard. Apparently he's joining us later. We'll ask him where he got the Josh Hader haircut.
The flow. I like the flow.
You know what I mean? He's got the flow. So here's Shaw, Smith, Wade.
He was fascinating. He is very instinctive, but just didn't get a chance to get interceptions this year. No picks. Then he goes to the Senior Bowl, has 2 picks in the Senior Bowl game. So it's like, okay, well, that's what I thought. He's always around the ball. Was able to haul in 2 of them.
He was whistled the first time, and his second run is a 4.54.
He can kind of move around in the secondary. He can play safety, he can play outside at corner, and play a little nickel if you wanted him to. Really good against the run.
Tarheeb still is now getting to the 40-yard dash line. It's Maryland Terrapin.
5 picks. Tons of production there for the Terps. Really good eyes.
Make sure your hands aren't on the light, please.
I wanted to see what he would run. There's a little bit of a question there, so let's see if he can answer it with a 40.
Taking a while to get set here. He's off. 4.52.
It's a solid time.
Brian Daboll of the Giants, 6th overall pick. What are they going to do?
Are they going to pick 6th overall? That's a good question.
Well, to move up, you're talking about?
Yeah. They got a little extra ammunition. They got some picks. They got some extra picks.
Okay. I hear you. Moving 6 to 3, right? That's the conversation. New England doesn't have to go that far down. They amass picks. G-men get the quarterback they might be looking for. Ryan Watts of Texas with a 4.53. And now here comes Nate Wiggins of Clemson.
Yeah, this is going to be fast.
Okay. That's what you're saying. This has got the potential of going sub 4.3 here.
So Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie ran 4.33. Similar body types, similar athletes. So I hate to put a number that big up there, but like 4.33, I think this guy's capable of hitting it.
There he goes. Nate Wiggins, 4.29. A sub 4.3. Getting a round of applause from the fans here.
You see this speed. We'll show the video later. When you see him chasing plays from behind, that is not a surprise to anybody in the building.
And the run is the hustle, and what's on top is the flow.
Nice.
Nicely done, Nate Wiggins. Wow. A leader in the clubhouse, an unofficial sub 4.3. I remember about 15 minutes ago, the 4.44
was holding strong.
Posted in his first run was the fastest time we had, and it's been smashed about 10 times.
Yeah, and Abrams Drain, I mean, those like that 4.44 in that first run's great with the production, the 4 picks. I was talking to Coach Drinkwitz about him. He said they're playing that bowl game against Ohio State. He's beat up at halftime. Drinkwitz says, "You're done. You're done." And the kid wouldn't let him take him out of the game. Yeah, big time competitor.
Who won that game?
Not the Buckeyes, the other team. You don't even need to talk about them. You just won the national championship.
I didn't. I was just curious about the final score. It was so long ago.
Let's see if Terrion Arnold just relax a little bit.
Okay.
He can get under that 4.5. Just relax. Like he had a better start on that one.
Okay. And
Oh.
Not a better finish, though. Jay Devonshire. 4.45 the first run. He'll stick with the first if those become official times. Marcellus dialed up a 4.47, and he'll stick with that one.
Seems a little faster on the first run with this group today.
All right. See if Willie Drew, and that stands the same here with him, a 4.48. His first run.
That's a good time for him. Look, coming from Virginia State, he had a ton of production. 5 picks. Thought it was a little bit up and down at the Senior Bowl, getting the opportunity to play against some better players. But that's a great time.
His first was a little bit up, and his second was a little bit down.
We'll take it.
Are you wearing your Al the Jeweler
necklace?
Is that what you're doing right now?
Yeah, Al the Jeweler, he took care of us, Rich. Okay. I just figured it was DB day, so if Al the Jeweler is going to be nice enough to send me something, I should probably rep it.
Oh, no. Wiggins ran that time, and now what's up, Stacy?
Well, what's up is you're watching Nate Wiggins get taken back for medical treatment. I actually just talked to him after we saw him run that blistering 4.29 unofficial 40, Rich, and he told me it's his groin. He actually said, I felt it pop. He said it's on fire right now and that he is done for the day. And I did follow up and say, well, are you happy with your time? And he shook his head no. He wanted a 4.2. So not satisfied with the unofficial 4.29, but concerning with the groin injury.
4.29 is what he ran, and then so he ran a 4.29 and felt something pop.
That's not good.
No, but I mean,
that's impressive. How that's a ridiculous number with 100% health to suffer that injury and post that time. And just hopefully he's got a nice runway time to get healthy in time for the fall here.
Miles Harden with a 4.51. Charles?
Hey, guys, that time there, DJ, for Miles Harden, 4.52, 4.51, matches, I believe, what you see on tape and also matches what the Missouri Valley coaches will tell you about him. This guy is tough on the perimeter, especially against the run game. A more than willing tackler, and they really like his production out there.
Yeah, I thought he was really comfortable in zone stuff, too, watching him. Again, that first tape was Missouri, and I'm like, okay, here we go. Pick right out the chute there.
What a bummer about Wiggins. We hope he's all right. I mean, the time, though, he has posted.
He just needs to take his time and get healthy through the spring here.
Sure.
His tape is good. Now everybody knew he could run, and he proved it here.
Right.
And let's get our focus on the football season next year. Take your time.
Peter Schrager?
I'm still talking about Quinyon Mitchell over here, ran that 4.3, 3.40, and talking about a guy who went to Toledo. So you're saying, okay, well, small school guy maybe compared to the other bigger schools, chip on his shoulder. Had opportunities to transfer in the transfer portal world, stayed at Toledo and only gave up 27 receptions this year. Runs the 40 here, but I loved his quote yesterday. They asked him, what was it like playing in the MAC? He said he's the best player in MAC history. Okay, so no shortage of confidence there. He says, I'm not here to be mediocre. I'm here to break records. Okay, let's go.
Ben Roethlisberger, Khalil Mack, that's strong.
Randy Moss?
Randy Moss is pretty good. Oh, were they in the MAC at that time?
Yeah, I believe so.
Good night.
Weren't they?
They were in the Southern Conference back with my alma mater, and then they moved up, and I didn't know if they were right into the MAC right away. It's Hardy. Jeez.
I think he runs a 4.39 40. And Cam Hart's second run. The Golden Domer 4.5 flat. And he'll stick with it.
I want to see his times next to his former roommate and best friend Kyle Hamilton. See what those look like in comparison.
Right. Kyle Hamilton's good at the sport of football.
He's rather good at it. Correct.
4.52 for the Oregon Ducks. Stick with the first one.
It's a big corner.
DJ James ran a 4.43 and had the fastest time for a bit.
Well, you see how quick this dude is going through all the pedal stuff. He's got really quick feet.
All right. Now we're back live. Isaiah Johnson. Here's
the hard thing is when you don't get the time you want on the first one, the thing is you want to press and tense up. You got to relax.
It's counterintuitive, right?
Yeah, 100%.
It's like golf.
Yeah, the harder you try, the worse you get. I know quite well.
4.66. Again, there's a second group of defensive backs after this, the safeties. And then we'll see tight ends. That's the way it's going to go today on Friday. Then tomorrow, the big day starts at 1 Eastern, 2 hours earlier than we have over the last 2 days. Running backs, quarterbacks, wide receivers, all on one day. Here's Elijah Jones. 4.45 and 4.48.
He can run. You see him make plays. A couple times I wrote down, you'll see him chase 40 yards across the field and go run down plays.
It's good to chat with Doug Peterson yesterday here in the booth. Coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're right there, smack dab in the middle of the first round. Kalen King. Penn State's 4.62, so that's about what he runs.
Yeah, he had to, man, you watch those Big Ten receivers, the first game you watch is against Ohio State because Marvin Harrison's a load to deal with. And, man, he got after a lot of these really good players here. Marvin Harrison performed quite well against.
Well, the question is, if it goes quarterback, 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 does this man on the screen get the shot at Marvin Harrison Jr. first in Detroit?
I think that's what it looks like at this point in time.
So,
I do think we go quarterback, quarterback, quarterback when it's all said and done, and the Arizona Cardinals are on the clock.
Max Melton.
Woo!
Has been terrific so far today. Just missed running a sub 4.40 for a second time, but again, these are unofficial times. Okay, so here's Quinyon Mitchell, who ran a blazing 4.33 in his first run.
There was a play at the Senior Bowl when he's going up against Roman Wilson, who was going to fly. He could run a very similar time for Michigan. And he hit him with a double move. And his ability to stop and restart and not get away from him and just stay right in phase. One of the best Senior Bowl reps I've ever seen. He is flying.
4.38, 2 sub 4.40s for the Toledo Rocket. Well done. A smattering of applause, sort of like a golf clap here.
Well, understated.
We'll look forward to seeing him in the on-field drills. Josh Newton of TCU is up.
He's a good player. He's very consistent.
4.52. 4.52. Stacy?
Just an update, guys, on Nate Wiggins. He came back out with some ice on his body and told me it's actually a hip flexor he's dealing with. Said he believes it's more of a strain after he talked to the medical staff, and told me he believes he'll be ready for Clemson's Pro Day.
Oh, that's good.
Which I believe is on April the 6th. So that is a great positive report coming off of what we thought was much more concerning with a groin injury.
That's great news.
And as we just saw, he could take a day off of the ab work. I think he'll be fine.
What would you give?
What do you mean? What would I give?
I'm making an assumption. I apologize for that. I'm sure. You guys are in similar posture right now.
Right now, yeah. I'm in ice down mode right now. I should sit up in my chair. You're not wrong.
And there's another one in the 4.3s here with Prince.
That's right.
God, he just looks fast.
4.42. Ian Rappaport.
Rich, one of the things we are seeing this combine in Indianapolis is a couple players, a couple top prospects approaching things a little differently than we're used to. I'll start with Marvin Harrison Jr., the potential, as you guys mentioned, potential number 4 overall pick to the Arizona Cardinals, superstar Ohio State receiver. Made a couple headlines, I think it's fair to say, today by not talking to media at his 8 a.m. or around there at his time. Now, my understanding is he has talked to several teams. Sounded like his interviews went really well, really personal guy. Teams liked what they heard, just did not talk to media, which I know is kind of a little different way to do it. Didn't do much, if anything, in Indianapolis here, obviously not working out. He is approaching things differently, the kind of elite prospect who can do that. Caleb Williams, somewhat similar situation. Now, he did do his media today, but he is not allowing teams to do the medical exams here in Indy. He's obviously going to take some visits, Chicago Bears and the other quarterback-needy teams. As he told reporters today, he is going to allow those teams to examine him. That is when he will do his medical, perhaps protecting some team that has no business looking at a quarterback from finding something wrong with him or just saying, you know what, it's really none of your business. It's only the business of those teams. But he also not participating in drills at the Combine.
4.38 for Nehemiah Pritchett. I've got a lot of questions on that for you, but I want to put a pin in that for the moment since we're watching these 40s. And then maybe when we're getting ready for some on-field drills or whatever, I'll unpin that.
Have that conversation.
If you don't mind.
Eric DeCosta with the Ravens.
Now, do the Ravens provide the binoculars for these guys, or?
I believe every scout, and Eric's a scout at heart, has their own set of binoculars. But usually, as a first-year employee, it's on you to throw a couple extra in the bag.
BYOB.
Yeah, you better have some spares. A little bit better time there for Rakestraw.
Nicely done.
He plays faster than that time too.
It's amazing how sometimes they stay the same speed with pads on. It's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're getting ready to see the tight ends later today, and we were just talking about this before, but like Isaiah Likely, who I'd seen 80, 90-yard touchdowns in college at Coastal Carolina. I mean, this guy's going to fly. I mean, he doesn't run well, and then you turn on NFL games, and he's running by everybody.
Yeah.
And it's just he's a game speed guy.
DeCamerion Richardson ran a 4.34 his first time. .436, just
Great
superb times. Superb times. There's Ozzie Newsome, whose final first-round draft choice was Lamar Jackson.
Can you, by the way, I don't know the rules on this. You have a better handle on this.
Mm-hmm.
Can you go into the Hall of Fame as an executive as well as a player?
I imagine.
How is he not? He should be in as an executive as well.
I get it, but what would they do? Just create another bust and just put it next to it?
Maybe you get it. Maybe
you go in it. You get a bust for. I mean, Bill Polian's in it as an executive. His name's on the Ring of Honor here. He's got a bust and a jacket. He's already got it.
I don't know, like when on the
Shaw Smith Wade
on the
with
jerseys.
4.57. By the way, if you notice, Mike Sanders still decided to just.
The whole thing with him was the 4.50. If he got anything under 4.50, it was like that's golden because everything else is golden with him is gravy. So
he just ran once and is done.
But my thing is like on the uniforms, you have the captain thing, and then they fill in the stars for every year you're a captain. Can you get a Hall of Fame jacket and then just get a little mark it up something? It's a special. It's a 2-timer.
I'll ask.
Okay, thank you.
I'll ask for you. I know some people.
Point is, he's one of the best
evaluators
and general managers this league has ever seen.
Charles Davis, sir.
Yeah, and you talk about Ozzie Newsome. None of us wanted to tackle him, but I want to talk about tackling because as fast as these guys are running, we get caught up in that. But one of the reasons Kansas City won the Super Bowl was an excellent tackling secondary. Make the tackle on the spot, no yards after catch, make offenses go the long way. When you're able to do that in the NFL, that's a big help for your defense. And we're seeing a few of these guys. They may not be super fast. They tackle really well, like Miles Harden and it's Rakestraw.
Yeah, Rakestraw is one of my favorite players for that reason, CD. And with the way teams play now with condensed formations, they are bringing these corners into the run fits where you have got to make a tackle. The days of saying I get paid to cover, they're not paying me to tackle, you can't play like that anymore. They're going to put you in a position where you got to get guys on the ground. And you're right, Kansas City just won a championship with the best tackling secondary in the NFL.
And free agency's right around the corner. Tuesday is the deadline by which you got to make decisions on franchise tags. And then the following Wednesday, 2 Wednesdays after that, it's the new league year. Like,
it's go time.
I know a lot of the folks and decision makers here and scouts and general managers and whatever are talking about how the season's been extended, but the dates in the non-playing season are static, pretty much.
Time has disappeared.
It has. You got to make decisions fast, based off of what you've seen here as well. And what we've seen is the the cornerback group, if you will, defensive back group number 1, group 4 overall, if you're scoring at home, have been done now running 40s. So, first 40 of the safety group is off.
It was a good start.
4, 5, 6, the first one we've seen here.
40 number we're looking for here, Rich. If we just use interceptions, top 10 safeties, the number is 4, 5, 4.
There's the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, picking 11th overall. Fascinating choice for them. They've got Kirk Cousins first up to deal with, imagine, in free agency. And that's a group that's been kicking quarterbacks around the combine, kicking tires on quarterbacks.
Doing their homework for a while.
They have been. And here's a Ute, Cole Bishop.
He's outstanding when they use him as a robber and drop him down. That is a great time.
4.45 for DB 44.
He directs traffic, too. You can see him he's directing everybody where they need to be. He can rush the quarterback a little bit and cover tight ends, and I did not know he was going to run that fast.
Now you do.
There we go.
Ian Rappaport.
Rich, one of the guys we're going to be seeing perform in front of us tomorrow is Washington quarterback Michael Penix. The fact that he is going to throw, obviously good news here. I know plenty of scouts and general managers looking forward to seeing what he's got, especially in person. There's a lot more going on here with Penix. The medical is going to be a big question. I would say was a big question. 2 ACLs plus shoulder injuries. Talked to a colleague, Tom Pelissero, earlier today and said he believed that he got positive reviews. My understanding is that is true. Actually got examined in January, just to give a little preview beforehand. That went well. Medicals here in Indy also went well. So any medical questions that Penix had seemed to be kind of pushed a little back under the radar, which is very good news for him. Meanwhile, another quarterback that we're going to be talking about, I'd say not going to throw tomorrow, but someone very noteworthy, Drake May from North Carolina. Talked to several teams who interviewed him. Sounds like of all the quarterbacks, he maybe has been among the most impressive. Big-time personality, big-time alpha. I know teams left their interviews with him very impressed.
Thank you, Ian. Greatly appreciate it. We saw Millard Bradford during that report run a 4.47. Now here's Javon Bullard of Georgia.
The cool thing about this safety group is these guys are jockeying for position. There is no set order. It is very jumbled up. There's a lot of good, solid players. I don't know. We're going to see one go in the first round, maybe not even in the first 40 picks or so. But then everybody has these guys graded differently. So an event like this, getting to see them run, can help separate some ties. And Bullard, as we're watching him, he's a real fluid mover. A reliable, dependable tackler. He's got some size to him.
And being a Georgia Bulldog, an excellent chance of being the next Philadelphia Eagle. Dave Canales, the new head coach of the Carolina Panthers. What a rise he has had after a terrific OC season in Tampa. The Panthers chose him to replace Frank Reich.
They need to put some pieces around their second-year quarterback and give Bryce Young a chance. This year, he didn't have much protection. He didn't have many guys, if any, that could really separate on the outside. They've got to add a lot of pieces this offseason.
It's just, again, the conversation you have so many times about nature versus nurture when you draft a quarterback. Will his skill set just overcome any of the shortcomings of a team that's drafting so high because they had such a problem winning games the previous year? Or is it just a situation where you need to go to a spot where you're not pushed, you have a better situation?
I'm old enough to remember an Alabama quarterback who went someplace and struggled, and then all of a sudden Tyreek Hill showed up and Waddle showed up, and all of a sudden his play changed.
That's a good point right there. Bullard with
Great
a 4.47.
Carolina has $34.6 million in salary cap space. I would advocate using 33 of it on offense.
Well, they got Brian Burns to pay too, don't they?
He's going to eat into some of that. They're going to have to move around some money and create some more money because they were last in points per game. They were 30th in sacks. They were 32nd total yards per game and passing yards per game. That's not something you solve with one or two bodies. They need a whole overhaul. I think Kalen Bullock's going to run really fast. I saw him play in high school. He was at Muir High School in Los Angeles, and imagine a guy like this on a high school field, how fast he looked. But at USC, big time, middle of the field range.
There he goes. 4.49.
Yeah, you see him line up in the middle of the field and make plays on the sideline repeatedly. Want to see him be a little more consistent as a tackler. Got better this year from last year to this year. But you're drafting him for his range and his ball skills.
Here's Jalen Carlisle, another Missouri Tiger.
Yeah, Missouri. It's never a secret, right? You have these breakout years, and the record reflects it. And then we get to the combine, and you see a whole boatload of their players. That was a talented group. I think he's going to end up playing linebacker. I think he's 227 pounds.
Nice start.
That's a great time. At 227 pounds, I would love to see him get a chance to drop down and really be able to cover backs and tight ends, be physical. They'll drop him down in the box some in their scheme.
4.5 flat.
He had a big game against Ohio State.
Dominique Hampton of Washington.
One of my favorites here, Rich. He's a 6-year player. We've seen a couple of those roll through here. He started in 2018, but he's a big, athletic safety at 215 pounds. That's a good time.
Peter?
Spoke to a few scouts this week. I said, who stood out from the safety position? Dom Hampton's interviews have been excellent. This guy played 57 games at the University of Washington. You mentioned it, 6-year player. It's the most games ever played at the University of Washington. Of course, did it over a course of many different players around him. Wasn't invited to the Senior Bowl, still had this incredible career and is good. 4.5, 40 for a safety, pretty good.
He's a physical dude. And, look, if you can't tackle, you're going to have a tough time getting on the field at safety position. He's really good at it.
Jalen Key of Alabama. Nice. 4.6 flat.
Talk about tackling and just making the plays. I think it was Jim Shorts who said they call it a safety, not a risky.
I love all these phrases. Cameron Kitchens of the U.
He's got a chance to be the top safety. He's in the conversation, absolutely. 11 interceptions over the last 2 years.
We'll let you know the time here. So we had a little bit of we're getting the hand time from Mark Ross, 4.65. That's what we timed him.
Big time pick 6 when you're watching the Virginia game. Really good playing downhill. This is one who's really athletic too, an Oladapo. Big safety. Here he is, 216 pounds, 6'2".
Oregon State.
He had a huge hit against the Washington State quarterback. That's a good time at that size.
4.58. Josh Proctor from the Ohio State. 4.6 flat.
He can run a little faster than that. See what he does on the next one.
No, he's got a second run. DB 60 is Damani Richardson.
Plays some in the slot as well.
And 60 is the last 2 digits of his 40. Andre Sam.
9 career picks. Transfer from McNeese.
4.59. Jalen Simpson of Auburn.
Jalen Simpson, undersized. He needs to run fast. 179 pounds. It's a great time.
4-4-7. We're back live. Tyke Smith of Georgia's first run. It's a 4.48.
Looked like he might have pulled up a little bit too there at the end.
He did slow down. Charles?
I'm thinking about these pairings that we have here, DJ and Rich. We got the Georgia safeties, Tyke Smith, Javon Bullard. Bullard 4.47, Smith 4.48. Cole Bishop ran a time for Utah that we didn't expect, right, DJ?
Yeah, 4.45.
And Sione Vaki, who we haven't seen yet, the other running mate out there, he was the guy that they turned around and used on offense as well. It's kind of a wildcat running back at times.
We got James Williams coming up for our second Hurricane safety as well out of Miami.
But he's going to be a linebacker, right?
He's in this group, but that's his future. His future is going to be a little bit up towards the line of scrimmage. That's a really good time. Man, Texas Tech, they get rolling.
Well, it's unfortunate for the Texas Tech Red Raider who doesn't want to be simulcam. There's Aaron Glenn, the DC in Detroit.
I have a feeling next year when we're here, he's going to be someone's head coach.
Well, that'd be nice for him.
He is ready for it.
Sione Vaki.
I want to get to Charles after he runs this one and get his thoughts on Vaki, who's played the majority of the time on defense but got some run on offense. And see him get out here. He should test well. I'm surprised he ran 4.62. CD, I think I might be in the minority. I actually liked him better at running back than I did on defense.
You're not a minority as far as this two-person conversation, because I thought the exact same thing, that felt more comfortable when I watched him on tape. I mean, when he went in Wildcat and took the ball, DJ, I mean, he runs with abandon. Like that's a real deal for him. But that Cole Bishop, he cleans up everything in front of him and is a really good blitzer when he drops down in the box.
Here's Evan Williams, Oregon.
We are going to see him. He's going to get some running back work at the end of his workout today. So
is that so?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's staying after class.
He's been requested. It's been requested. Now, I don't know. I'm sure he will end up doing it. I'll be shocked if he wouldn't. But that has been submitted and requested by the teams.
Hey, whatever you can do to make a roster, right? I mean,
absolutely.
There's Brandon Bean, GM of the Buffalo Bills. Apparently, we're seeing him in 15 minutes.
Come on over.
Well, I mean, I imagine he won't be looking at too many tight ends, right?
I think they're okay there now.
Don't you think?
Yeah. And Dalton Kincaid just scratching the surface what he's going to be. Knox has been a great player for them. Evan Williams was better when he was dropped down lower towards the line of scrimmage.
4.61 for him.
Take away some of the issues you might have range-wise, get him down in the box.
James Williams from the U, the final first 40 of the final group of defenders. Defensive prospects here at the Combine, a 4.65, just like his U teammate. Dejon Anthony.
It looks like he's running faster than 4.56, 4.58. That was a good-looking run.
Cole Bishop of Utah.
Man.
4.45.
Got out.
4.49. 2 sub-4.5s here.
That was the last, question on him, and he's answered it emphatically.
Millard Bradford ran a 4.47. Trying to better that. And he does.
It's
nicely done. Stacey Tales.
Yeah, just a quick update, guys, on Texas Tech's Tyler Owens. He indicated to me that he's got a right groin injury. He's got ice on it. He's out for the rest of the day. It is such a blow. Devastating, really, watching him. He was quite emotional. We saw him with the 41-inch vertical, the 12-2 broad. He tried to stretch it out, but just a disappointing moment for him.
Appreciate it, Stacey. And obviously there's pro days ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, the 40's unnecessary. When you jump like that, the explosiveness and the speed is not going to be a problem. It's a bummer we don't get the chance to have the field work out would have been a good opportunity for him. But you mentioned it. You get another crack at it at the Pro Day, which will be the Big 12 combine, that we're going to be airing on NFL Network.
All right.
Where the whole Big 12 is going to come together to work out. In Frisco, Texas.
The new Big 12. Right?
Yeah, everything's new.
So Prime will be there?
Well, no, because I don't think. I think that will be with what the football season we just had.
Okay.
So technically, he's still a Pac-12 head coach.
Not yet?
Yeah.
We saw him before.
So technically, we coming. He ain't coming.
Not yet?
Yeah.
Oh, he's coming. He'll be there. There's Frank Gore, his son, in the combine.
He has a similar rushing style, too. He had a great East-West Shrine Bowl. His son did. So excited to see him get his opportunity out here tomorrow.
The inconvenient truth is what we called him.
All those guys who played on those great Miami teams, and you ask him who the best player was in that whole era, and Frank Gore's name comes up repeatedly.
I've said it before. I think he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. He did it for a long time at a high level. Consistent as all get out.
All San Francisco coaches here were the lightning bolt on.
He said it was his favorite player back in those days.
He had 100 yards and a touchdown in that Super Bowl in the Har Bowl in New Orleans.
The lights went out.
Lights went out. We're going back to New Orleans next year. First time since. My goodness. Let's hope he's just decided.
I think he's self-stopped.
Self-stopped.
That's smart.
Self-stopped.
Smart.
I know all about self-stopping.
Done that a few times.
The problem for me is that's my entire 40 is I self-stop.
You forgot to take the e-brake off?
40 yards of self-stopping. That's a problem.
It's a good start, though. Okay.
Shregs, what's going on?
Hey, we're talking Frank Gore. I remember talking to him when he was still playing, and I said, do you want to coach? Do you want to get in TV? He's like, I want to be a GM. I want to be a GM, and the Niners have taken him under his wing. Jed York, Parag Marathe, John Lynch, they all look at him as, one of their own, and he has been very much a part of the last few years with this program, and he wanted it so bad for them, that Super Bowl, that they just came up just short. But he still has aspirations to be an NFL general manager, and how proud he is today watching what's going on this weekend.
Also spent some time in the ring, right, with Darren Williams.
Oh, that's right.
Remember that?
Yes. We had a good visit with him. It's great at the Combine who you run into in the hallway.
Yeah, right.
We had a chance to have a great chat.
All right, Bullard. No self-stopping there. Another 4-4 and change 40.
Something tells me his alma mater's missed their last playoff for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. There's Stephen Jones of the Dallas Cowboys. What do you think they need? Other than that run stopper?
Well, we'll see what's going to happen with Tyron Smith. He's a free agent.
Right.
You go in that direction. You look at a couple other spots.
Well, they got to extend Dak, right? That's the first.
That's the first order of business, no question. They've got to clear a little room too.
That will help clear the room.
Yes, but I think they have to move some other stuff around, extend some other guys as well.
And then we find out what Jerry Jones meant about going all in. He said that at the Senior Bowl. As Bullock runs a 4-5, he'll stick with his first run. Remember he said that? They're going to go all in on players that they normally might not.
But my question is, is this Dodgers all in or Red Sox all in?
That better be Dodgers all in.
No question.
Is what the Red Sox are doing all in? I know
they came out and said that they came out. Ownership came out and said this is we're going to. I don't know what the exact.
I'd like to play poker with them if that's all in.
That was. I don't think the Red Sox fans have been too pleased with that.
But I think it's Dodgers all in, right? I mean, if you're
$1 billion worth of all in.
Jalen Carlisle.
I want to see him with the field work. That's a great time at 4.50. I want to see how fluid he is. That was a little bit of the question I had on him. We'll get a chance to see that in the workout. He's running really well. That's the mark we've set, Rich. 4.54 on the button. That's what you're aiming for.
Well, he's at 4.5 flat in his first, so I'll stick with that.
No question.
Dom Hampton of Washington.
Quick eyes. He anticipates from the middle of the field, which is huge as a safety. Real physical tackler. I thought some of the man stuff was an area he could improve and work on, but it's nice to have a safety at that size, 6'2" and change, 215 pounds that can run.
4-5. There's Coach Payton. 12th overall selection. They're in the quarterback market too.
This is an interesting one here with Key, Rich. These guys, we have so many transfers with the portal. He was a 1-for-1 transfer, left the comforts of UAB where he was the guy. No assurances you're going to start. You go into Alabama, you know the talent that they have. He just bet on himself and went there, won himself a job, and played well.
Ian?
Rich, as free agency is set to begin, and this week is essentially setting the table for all that, we also see teams clearing cap space, one of the big missions here as teams meet with agents. Go through a couple big-name, big-time veterans who were released today. We'll start with J.C. Jackson from the New England Patriots. Remember, second time member of the Patriots, came over from the Chargers in a trade, clears more than $10 million in cap space, simply did not work out in New England. No surprise there. Another one who came over in a trade, this time with the Philadelphia Eagles, Kevin Byard, the former All-Pro for the Tennessee Titans, signed on with the Eagles after a trade, played about half the season. He was released today, also clearing more than $10 million in cap space. And then the Washington Commanders get set for a massive free agency as well. They got a ton of cap space, cleared more today. Starting left tackle Charles Leno, who's set for hip surgery next week, he was released. And then Logan Thomas, their standout tight end, also released in a cap-saving move.
Thank you, Ian. As he said, no surprise about J.C. Jackson. So if Byard's been released, maybe some of these Georgia safeties? I mean,
we got two here. Come on board. They're contractually obligated to at least select one Bulldog.
Or at least, begin to look at them first, right? Yeah. Do they have a first look option on all Georgia?
Right, or first refusal?
Brian Gutekunst, the Green Bay Packers. Hey, man, what that guy does with the roster, and they decided what they were going to do with Jordan Love, and a lot of wondering about holding on to Rodgers all the way through to darn near the draft last year. He's got a second-round draft choice from the Jets in his back pocket, too. And Jordan Love looking the way that he looked?
Well, to me, it was the impressive thing of, the first and second year receivers that he's getting the ball out and tight ends. I mean, they are all young.
Gone, Josh Proctor of Ohio State. I've been told I don't have to say the every time.
Yeah, we had a text come in from a Kirk from that went to school there.
Kirk in Columbus just
Kirk
chimed
in Columbus.
Long-time listener, first-time
caller.
What's up, Kirk? Damani Richardson.
I've got a great comp for Josh Proctor once we get through these runs here.
Sounds good. Look forward to that. Andre
Sam 4.59's a really solid time. Can he get under it? Just over.
Unofficial times, everybody. Jalen Simpson.
He has got striding it out. 4.45.
Nicely done there. Although the Wiggins time that you see on the screen, that's an official time of 4.28. These are all unofficial times in Group 5. Back in the day, we used to have to wait till everybody in the position group was done before getting some official times. We appreciate this. Dadrian Taylor Demerson.
The Red Raiders can roll.
Slightly better. All right, and you're Sione Vaki. What's that comp that you have?
So the comp is Proctor was 6'1.5", 199 pounds, ran 4.6 flat. I've got another one here. It was 6'2 and 3/8", 195, 4.6 flat. You might recognize him, Charles Davis. Same vert, almost identical in terms of the weight and the 40. So Charles Davis, I think that's the first time you've made it as a comp in the years we've been doing this.
And somewhere Josh Proctor's family is weeping.
No,
right
they're
now.
not.
No. They just burst into tears.
4.62. for Vaki.
Well, the speed might be similar, but I don't know if his wardrobe's going to be able to keep up with yours. I haven't seen it yet, CD, but you're the sharpest dressed man in sports television.
You're awfully kind. Awfully kind.
The final 240s of defensive prospects at this combine. Again, once this group is over, it's the offense the rest of the way, starting with the tight ends tonight.
Evan Williams, he got some real stopping power. CD as a tackler.
Nicely done. 4.62.
Really good tackler. Charles is in transition. I think he's going from the top all the way down to the field now. Does he go down the stairs as fast as he goes up the stairs?
I hope not.
It's a little risky.
It is.
Getting ready to cover safeties. Let's be safe.
Final runner. Tonight.
Imagine we'll see James Williams do some linebacker work too at the end of this workout.
There he goes. 4.67.